Hello besties, my name is Dylan the Bridge and welcome to my channel. Last week was my birthday and I always draw myself as my little blobfish persona. And I was very late finishing it. I literally finished it today. Everything's last minute with this video. Don't mind that I gave myself plenty of time. But I loved how it turned out and I hope y'all do as well. And also because June is Pride Month, and I didn't talk about queer comic last time, so let's talk about one. Today we're talking about Fruity Bodies by Ashley Robin Franklin. I had gotten this comic when I was in Seattle with my friends last year, and not only did I get a bunch of Daredevil comics, I had also gotten some indie comics, and this of course was one of them. Not only is it a queer comic, but it's also a horror comic. And I love getting horror comics. I can slightly handle horror movies. I cannot handle playing horror games. But I can fuck with some good horror comics. They're just so fun, and they usually have sick as hell comic covers. So, with spoilers ahead, let's talk about it. Our main character's name is Frances, who goes by Fran in this comic, which will be explained more later on. And she's texting her partner while in the car with her brother driving, and in the passenger seat is his best friend Trent. They're going on a boys' trip and dropping off Fran to go move in with Ray in Portland. Trent and Charlie are very excited for this boys' trip as the group hadn't gotten all together in a very long time. We then get to find out that Charlie is once again inviting Fran and Ray to join them on this trip, but Fran turns it down again. As they're driving through the woods, it starts to rain and Charlie is like, I don't think I could ever get used to these gray skies, and jokes that Fran is only in it for the flannels. But yeah, I had also forgotten to mention that Fran and Trent have a very tense relationship. They tend to argue a lot, and Trent called Ray Fran's girlfriend, and Fran once again corrects him, saying that it's partner. And when Fran had told Ray about how annoying Trent's being, they remind her that she's the one that tagged along. So anyways, back to where we are with the rain and shit. They of course end up not having any signal because it couldn't really be a horror thing with like phone signal. No, it cannot. And their Siri starts acting up, and all of a sudden wants them to turn down this road. So they do that, but they're like very unsure of it all. But then the car starts to run low on gas, and Trent blames it all on Fran, as she felt very unsafe at the last gas station due to the people around there. Which, very valid. They continue to argue, and Charlie calls them cranky because they're pretty much just acting like toddlers and arguing all the time. And Charlie blames it on them being in the car for so long. And he's trying to remain hopeful that they'll find a gas station soon, but the others are hitting F for doubt. But they have no choice but to continue going, as they don't have enough gas to turn around to get to that gas station. They still don't have signal, and Trent blames it all on Fran for being sensitive. And they continue to argue some more, and Charlie decides to leave the car after it had run out of gas. And he tells them that he's going to go look for help, and the two come to their senses and join him. They find this abandoned cabin, and there's this gas canister outside, but it's empty and also covered in bugs, so Charlie is very quick to drop it. And, as they're all looking, Charlie ends up going to Fran and talking with her, saying, he knows that it's always been tense with them, but could they at least try to get along, at least till Portland? And Fran agrees as long as Trent also gets this talk. and she appreciates that he's willing to even drive her to Portland. And when Trent comes back, it's revealed that none of them have found anything, so they decide this it's a smart thing to do to just set up camp for the night and try again in the morning. The vibes are a little bit better, you know, they're joking around now. And they have the two tents set up. They got a fire going, they're eating some food, drinking some beer. But then all of a sudden, this woman appears behind Fran. And she, after hearing that they're stuck in the woods with no gas in their car, is like, I can help, but I'm separated from my friends. But we can find them in the morning and they'll help us out. And Trent doesn't mind her joining the group. So she ends up sitting next to Fran, and Trent is quick to go over there to sit next to her. And then they all introduce themselves. And it turns out that this lady is also named Frances, which, you know, is why I'm just sticking to calling our main character Fran as opposed to her, like, full name. Trying to keep it, like, not confusing for y'all. And that's how I did it in my notes, so I wouldn't confuse myself later. But, like, something is off with Frances, and Fran notices that, like, when she lifts her boot off the ground slightly, there's something coming off of it that's also, like, connected to the ground. Kinda sussy. But then they call it early night, and Charlie has the two Franceses share a tent, and then him and Trent share a tent. So the two get to talk, and Frances tries to kiss Fran and gets, like, her tongue in her mouth even. But Fran quickly pushes her off and is like, I have a partner. I'm moving in with them tomorrow. This feels wrong. And then they go to bed. But in the middle of the night, she wakes up and Frances is gone. So she gets up to go look for her, and that's when she finds her making out with Trent. She is very quick to go run back to the tent and just try to go to bed for the rest of the night. And when she wakes up in the morning, Charlie is calling out for Trent. And in the spot of where Frances was, it's just goop. So the siblings go and try to look for the two missing. And Fran ends up finding Frances just standing in the forest. And when she asked her about where Trent is, she acts so innocent and it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she tries to get on Fran. And that's when Trent comes up and shoves her off. He's all beat up, he's coughing. And we see him turn into this, like, mushroom zombie. I don't know how else to describe what he is and what Frances is besides just mushroom zombie. Because it's also revealed that Frances is one. And she's like, Trent's home now. So Fran runs off and finds Charlie, and before she could explain that Trent had turned into this creature, Charlie hears a noise and starts to go towards it, and Fran's unsure if they should, and it's like trying to explain, but Charlie calls her scared and is like still wary of her and Trent's relationship, and he doesn't want to leave his best friend behind. We then get to see all the bodies on the ground in that area, and Charlie finds Trent, goes over to him, and then we hear all of their necks snapping, and all the mushroom zombies wake up. And Charlie has no choice but to shove his best friend into a tree branch, impaling him, and this cloud of stench releases from his body, and Charlie freezes up. He's about to start crying. He, like, just killed his best friend. Then Fran yells at him, something's behind him. That another one of the zombies is behind him. And he has to quickly get out of the way, and the two run off together. Charlie is trying to work himself through this breakdown, as he knows he needs to get out of there before he can allow himself to fully break down. He then remembers some mushroom facts that he learned in school. That what we see is the mushroom is actually the sex organ. Cue the title drop, it's fruiting bodies. And that the mushroom part is the largest living organism, and is all underground and connected through the roots. And that's when Fran puts it together that Francis had been the one that turned Trent into one of the mushroom zombies. The siblings get lucky and they find this campsite that had gas. Slay, let's fucking go. So they fuel up the car and they drive off. And Charlie is trying to calm both of them down by talking. And they finally reach Signal, and Fran wonders how she would even begin describing everything that happened when she finally gets to Ray's place. But then Fran starts coughing, and Charlie is worried and asks her what's wrong. And that's when Fran looks down at her own arm, and we see mushrooms growing out of it. She starts to cry, and Charlie drives faster down the road. And that's how the comic ended. It was this beautiful horror comic that, honestly, would be a really great beginner horror comic. It's great. It has amazing elements, everything. The art's amazing. And the cover's shiny. Best part right there. No, I'm kidding. Not the best part, but a great part. I love seeing what different creators do with horror, and I especially love horror and nature elements. Yeah, The Last of Us also you could describe those as mushroom zombies. This feels a bit different. Still would be absolutely fucking terrifying though. And I would definitely recommend all of y'all pick up this comic. Go to your local comic book store or order it online, and I will provide the link below if you want to do that. Gotta support creators and support small businesses. Yeah. As always, let me know what y'all want me to talk about next, and I will see what I can do. My links will also be down below, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye, besties.